Corrupt, a show here on the Ringer Reality feed. I'm Rachel Lindsay. She is Callie Crerie. We're going to get right into it because we've been into it for 45 minutes off mic. So I love just our little catch-up sessions. Just a little catch-up session. All right, let's jump right into Miami, where they gave us a treat this week and gave us 2 episodes back-to-back. So if you missed it, you guys might not have been on it. So people might not have realized that Miami's heading to a new day, Thursday. So what's coming in on Wednesday?
I don't know. I was thinking that. I don't know
what's the setup. We already lost Atlanta on Sundays.
Maybe Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
I don't know, because now we're losing the Valley on Tuesdays, and we're doubling it up on Thursdays with OC and Miami. I'm not sure what's going on here. Bravo, let us know, because next week I started watching The Gilded Age. I need TV now.
Everybody's what? I literally was thinking I started watching Better Call Saul because I'd never watched it and I'm loving it. But
that's good.
I have seen a lot of posts about The Gilded Age and I'm like, should I watch this show?
So I don't like period pieces. That's just not my thing. But everybody keeps raving about it, particularly this last season. Whatever this season is, everyone's loving. So someone was like, you could just start in season 3.
In the past month than ever before.
Yeah. Everyone's like, this season,
but you're
you could start here.
In season 3?
I already did. No, I started from the beginning. I don't do that. No, I'm not going to. I don't
like that either. I have to watch
But I watched the first episode and I'm like, I like the concept of it. I find post-Reconstruction just very interesting in general because it was a time where everyone was trying to be like, okay, slavery's done. Black people are on their own. They're building their own business and community and wealth and, showing we are more than just slaves. And I just find that era interesting. So it's like, as much as I don't like period pieces, I like that. And then the through line is society's changing, right? So you have old money who's holding on to the rules of society of this is how things are done. And my family name is what is keeping me in this society, but they have no money. And you have new money coming in with the railroad system. So the old society is not letting the new money in because that's not the way of the world, but the new money has the money. And so they need their money to survive and stay afloat, but society-wise won't let them in. So it's very interesting concept. I like it. I like it.
So you're saying I should give it a shot.
And if you watch White Lotus, Carrie Coon is in this, and then Cynthia Nixon's in it.
And my girl, what's her name? The girl from The Good Wife, isn't she in it?
I don't watch. I love her. I don't watch The Good Wife, but I do love her. Christine, and I can't think of her last name.
What is her name? Christine Baranski?
Yeah. She always plays a snob. And I love it.
She's good
a snob
at it.
in this too. She's a snob in this too. So you should watch it, and then maybe this should be a premiere TV thing if they're not already covering it, because everybody knows I don't know what's going on at the Ringer. But in the meantime, we're gonna cover Miami. So the ladies are in Sevilla. You've been to Sevilla, right? I love Sevilla.
No,
but
they go to Marbella, right? Sevilla, Marbella.
Not yet. They haven't.
No, but that's where I think that's where the trip is, right?
It's not Mallorca. It might be Marbella. I think
it's Marbella. Sevilla is right above Marbella. So I've been to Marbella, but I've never been to Sevilla.
And I've never been to Marbella. But Sevilla is, so Alexia explains it because she talks about how she used to live in Spain. And she's like, Sevilla's older. And it is an old town, old city. But it's one of those cities. I love to get on a bicycle and get lost in a city. And this is a really good city for it. And there's just all these random tapas restaurants and stuff. And
it looks
there's
beautiful.
A river. Yeah, there's a river that you can drive around, and there's a university there. So there's a lot of them. I remember when I went, I was a year after The Bachelor. So there were a lot of people that were like Rachel. And I'm like, oh my God, who do I know in Sevilla?
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's a university there. So a lot of people are transfer students. Is that what you call it? Exchange students. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was like,
not transfer. No.
Exchange students. But the food is great. It's just a really cool city. So I was excited when I saw the ladies that were going there. Now, we know the ladies are going there in 2 different ways. Some commercial, some private. So we start with Larsa, Audriana, and Julia on Stephanie's PJ. Very nice looking PJ. It felt boring. It felt like they're not friends. That's what it felt like. It felt like they don't know each other.
No. Yeah, I wanted to know what what were the sleeping arrangements? Because they're all sitting around that one table. I'm like, I know y'all are tired. I know y'all don't want to sit across from each other when there's other options to like put your feet up and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was also just like a weird mix. Like that was a weird group for me to watch. Not my favorite group. Plane looks nice, looks new, looks modern. Wouldn't say it has like a ton of character, but I would say that aligns with like Stephanie's aesthetic overall. They made a point to talk about it when they got there, which Stephanie is starting to rub me the wrong way.
Come on over. Come on over.
I still think she's good for the show.
No, she's great for the show. She's great.
But there's just a few things that I'm just like, okay.
It's exhausting, right? It's
exhausting.
Because she doesn't have friends. And she says that. And she almost wears it like a badge of honor. She's like, I don't really have girlfriends. I don't really do that. It's just her life is the business, Masood, her parents, and the dogs. And she seems perfectly fine with that. Yeah. But it's good for the show because it's like, you don't know how to be around women. And that's entertaining to watch. You say whatever is on your mind. There's no filter. You don't understand social cues. But sometimes it works, right? Like later in the episode when she calls out Julia for running over to Alexia, it's like, that is the energy we need. We don't need you to play it nice. No, call her out because that was messed up. So
it was weird.
Well, it goes back to our Dr. Nicole, who clocked it from the beginning.
No. I was saying what Julia did was weird. So I'm glad she clocked her on that. Yeah.
But I'm saying it goes back to what Dr. Nicole said about Julia, the way she's acting. It's like the girl who didn't get the attention in high school, and now the popular girls are giving you the attention.
No. Wasn't that Audriana who said that?
I thought Dr. Nicole said it to Gertie. But it could be Audriana.
Oh, maybe she did in that conversation. Okay,
and it's like, that's it. And when I saw Julia run over to Alexia, I was like, oh, that's 100% what it's giving. She's so happy to be included with the quote unquote cruel girls. And so she's, she wasn't with the cool girls on the flight. She felt like when we talk about Stephanie, so it's like, I don't like Stephanie in her conversation, and she does seem like she does try to buy her friends or throw their money in the face. It's like this, it was a nice gesture for her to have gifts, but it didn't feel genuine. It felt like you're just flaunting your wealth again. I don't know why. And she may not have been, and this might not be a fair assessment, but that's what it felt like.
Well, obviously, like the gifts weren't that special. So, whatever. But it felt like she wasn't giving them to be like, oh, I thought this was like a nice idea. It was to be like, obviously, like, when you fly with me, like, this is what you get. This is the treatment you get. Do you think the other girls have pajamas? Like, it's just very like, give it a fucking rest. I don't even want to change into pajamas. I'll sleep in my fucking clothes. They're dirty. We're dirty. We're on a plane. Like, I'm going to shower when I get there.
Yeah. No, 100%. I don't even think Julia, nobody else changed into their pajamas.
Yeah, we didn't see anyone else change.
They changed back.
Because it's like, for what?
At this point, we know who you are and we know you have money. So we need to step into the Dorinda of it all with the wealth whispers. Let's just let the wealth whisper at this point. And it's screaming. I said wealth whispers and my dog starts barking.
Not a good sign, Rachel.
I ain't got the wealth anymore. That is those days are temporarily. No, I don't want to manifest that it's not things won't come back. But and speaking of screaming, it's like even when they get to Sevilla, at first, okay, wait, is it just me, or when they said, Larsa goes, where are we staying? And she said the Radisson Collection. I said the Radisson.
Not the Radisson. Don't let me find out we're back on Real Housewives of Potomac.
No, Potomac and
Salt Lake.
No, Atlanta. Like, remember when they go to Birmingham and they stay at when they go see Kenya Kenya goes to do something and she ends up not being able to do it. I can't remember why, but she's doing something in Birmingham and they stay at because I remember I looked up the hotel. Courtyard. It was like 3 stars. It was something. It was like, what is happening here? And again, that's not a shade to anybody. It's just we're watching Real Housewives. We're expecting 5-star and above. Yes. But I was like, the Radisson? Okay.
Not the same Radisson we find out.
Yes, the Radisson Collection. They get there. it's still okay. It's like they get to the presidential suite, and it's like, okay. I'm trying to remember where I.
Well, Stephanie's presidential suite.
Stephanie's presidential suite.
Roses and Chanel gifts.
Loud.
But also, like, I was texting my friends about this because I was like, I like Stephanie on the show. Like, I think it's a good addition to the show, but like, she's annoying. And I am like, she bought those gifts for herself.
Yeah. Masood bought you rain boots. We're stepping into tacky. This is the nouveau riche. See, if this was the Gilded Age, Stephanie would not be allowed into the society.
I know for a fact Queens of Bravo is listening to this podcast, just like twiddling their little fingers together. So I don't know, I'm saying they, it's one person, but so happy that we are mixing Bravo and the Gilded Age.
Really?
She's obsessed with both.
This is my excitement.
That's where I thought you got it from.
No, this is my excitement over one episode. I've only watched one episode, and I'm telling you, it's good. It's like gossip. It's like a little soap opera, but great acting. You know, I watched Hunting Wives. I'm not saying the acting was bad, but it was like campy. This is not campy, but it's giving a soap opera. Hunting Wives is good.
Yeah.
Except for the last episode. Like it might have ruined it for a second season because it was just that bad to me. But it is a watch if you guys haven't watched that either. So the most interesting part to me as we're watching Stephanie look at these tacky flowers and these big, loud Chanel boxes is Audriana then proceeds. Audriana used to be the narrator of the whole thing. Audriana then proceeds to say, well, she is no stranger to romantic gestures either, because there was some man who flew her out to his private island one time and showered her with all the luxurious things as well. But unfortunately, that didn't work because at one time he was flying from his private helicopter on a plane. Flying on his helicopter from his private island, and he died. And she says it just like that. And he died.
She was like, and he died. He did.
So of course I looked this up.
Oh, you
did? Yes,
well, because
I'm like,
I had like copied a tweet or like meme or something that I saw that was like, do I believe that this happened? No. Did I enjoy listening to Audriana tell the story? Yes.
This happened. Now, was Audriana really with this man or not? I don't know. But this 100% happened because she gave enough clues for me to be able to Google it. So, of course, I put man dies on leaving from his private island to Palm Beach. The guy's name, if this is it, and the reason that this is such an unhinged story because it's actually so tragic. It's tragic for somebody to die anyway, but this is a billionaire. His name is Chris Klein. He was leaving his private island in Grand Cayman or something like that, somewhere in the Bahamas. And he left the island because he was on a trip with his daughter and her friends, and the friend got sick. So the three of them leave early at night and fly on a helicopter back to the States. And the helicopter crashes and all three of them die. So three people, this man, a billionaire, his daughter, and her friend, they had just graduated from college, young. I'm not saying that, he lost his life too, but 61, 20 something, just graduated from college. So sad. Somebody lost a husband. Or no, I guess he wasn't married, but you know what I mean? Like somebody lost their daughter, ex-husband. It's so sad. And to hear Audriana just be like,
I know.
And
he died.
He died. It's like, if this is the man, which my Google research, I didn't see anything close to it. All the clues are there. This is where they were going. He's from Palm Beach. It's a whole thing. Like, Audriana, you are wild to flippantly talk about this man dying. And the whole reason of you telling the story is you too can relate to a life of luxury, not the sadness over lives that were lost in such a tragic way. Audriana,
especially with three young girls. But
wild.
I didn't know all of that with the story, but I did enjoy hearing her tell the story. Now, knowing the story, oh my gosh, I'm like deep now.
This was me when I was watching it.
He also used to date Tiger Woods' former wife, Elin.
You're deeper than me. You got it deeper than me. I did
Said he
not know
dated her
that.
for several years. Let me just tell you, Lynn knows how to pick them. Lynn.
Yeah. So Audriana is
she's hilarious.
She's a great narrator, but God.
I was trying to think though, like, because I'm just absolutely loving her recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I know I didn't used to like her. Like, I don't know what's going on, but the last
I think I've always liked her.
I need to like go back and see if I just feel like I didn't like her at one point. I can't remember why or when, but I feel like there was a time where I was like, she's too much. Whatever she's doing now, it's what I want. I absolutely love her.
I think there was a time where it was too much. And so maybe her being friend of and using her, she thrives in the confessionals. So I think using her through confessionals is better than her saying that in front of everybody. It works better. It lands better.
Yeah.
So maybe they found the ideal way to use her. So Stephanie, see, this is where Stephanie's funny. Stephanie says that she wants to be friends with Alexia, but she thinks that she has a Napoleon complex and low self-esteem. That's funny to me.
Yeah.
Stephanie, Alexia does not have a Napoleon complex. I'm almost like, Stephanie, do you understand what that means? She doesn't have a Napoleon complex.
Alexia, if anyone has the Napoleon complex, it would be Stephanie.
It's Stephanie, exactly. Yes. I don't think Stephanie understands what Napoleon complex is, but that's why it's funny. You know?
Also, I don't know. How tall is Alexia?
She seems tall, but she's probably she's probably like 5'7". She's always in heels.
That's true. She seems tall though. First of all, I've met her before. What the fuck am I talking about?
I don't remember. I'm very bad with height because I think I'm tall. So I'm very bad with people in height. Because if you ask me, like, I stand as tall. I stand with. I'm on the back row. What?
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're friends. Yeah. I just don't. I don't.
This is a long time ago. This was a very long time ago.
But for her magazine?
Yes. She used to have a magazine. And when I was in grad school at I worked at her magazine as a translator because I was fluent in Spanish at the time.
At the time? You're not anymore?
I'm nowhere near.
I feel like you don't forget
crazy. What? Are you kidding me?
Because my dad is fluent in Spanish and he never uses it anymore. And he's still fluent. Because I've seen him have to use it. And I'm
sure, I can use it like randomly. Like if someone's at my house and like you know what I mean? Like yesterday I asked someone a question and my nanny also speaks Spanish. Actually, she speaks Portuguese, but she can like understand Spanish. Mm-hmm. And this person like responded in Spanish, and I was like, oh, like I could understand what they were saying and totally fine. But like, if I were to be like dropped off in Madrid and can only speak Spanish, which there's plenty of English speakers.
I think you.
So I don't know why I use that as example. I do fine, but am I fluent? Like not even close to fluent. I used to be able to just like have conversations and like it would be easy. I cannot do that at all anymore. Now I'm like, you know what I mean? When I'm like trying to talk.
I bet if you spent a week, it would like,
I'd probably need like a month.
If you were forced. Yeah, I'm so impressed. Okay, so you were a translator for her magazine.
Yeah, so I was their social person who translated their tweets from Spanish to English.
Was she on Housewives yet?
Yeah. But it was during the time where there was no Miami.
So like it was during the time in between.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so, because it was in like 2013. Yeah.
But you knew who she was.
Yeah. Oh, she was in the office like all the time.
How is she the same on TV that she is?
Super nice, super sweet, calm,
I think
not loud.
She comes across as nice.
Yeah. So it wasn't like there was no craziness at all. Like very chill, whatever. But yeah, there's only like 10 people, 20 people there in the office probably. So how the fuck I got this job, I don't even remember.
I love it.
No idea.
I love
what a
feedback like this.
random moment in time in my life.
Don't you ever hold information like this from me again.
I honestly kind of forgot about it.
I would think about it every single time I saw her. That's crazy.
No, I literally forgot
that.
I blacked it out. But yeah.
You know her as a businesswoman. I love that.
She was very nice, very normal, very easy experience for me.
Great. I like Alexia. I do. Yeah. There's something endearing about her that I just like it. Yeah. And I feel like other housewives from other cities, when they meet her, like her too. Yeah. So, okay. So Julia, they get there. Julia runs over to Alexia. She tells her, and I even feel like Alexia feels like it's weird. Alexia, because remember Alexia and Marisol are talking.
It wasn't even like, hi.
We were talking about you. And it's like,
we were just talking about you. I would have been like, bro, what? Calm down.
I also didn't know that they heard her. It was
a dog treat.
Seriously. I didn't know they heard her because she whispers it and takes her to the side. But apparently she was loud enough to where all the other women heard her.
Well, they were 2 feet away. And I feel like she was kind of like, we were just talking about you. So it wasn't like, we were just talking about you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then, like she said it.
And then she doesn't get it when they confront her.
Stephanie was literally like, bitch, what? Stephanie was
just flew on my PJ.
Fire.
See, Stephanie's also that friend.
Fire. Like, I just did this, and this for you.
She's that friend. You can't accept things from Stephanie because she's always gonna hang over.
Hold it over your head.
We all know those people. And I don't I usually the friendships don't last. Like, do something nice to do something nice. Don't do it because you're trying to pull me on your side. Even though Julia was wrong, Stephanie still comes across as that type of person. So Julia still doesn't get it. She's like, what? I was just telling her. And it's like, Julia. I used to love Julia. I love
how Audriana was like, I don't know. She's a different person. She's not who I first met. I'm like, I agree.
She was like silent. She was kind of like, I'm just gonna let the thing speak for itself.
Yeah, and
I
you
don't
could
have
just
to say
see her
anything.
in the corner, just being like,
Now, the funniest part of this episode is the flamenco song.
Oh, I was like, if she doesn't,
flamenco.
I was laughing out loud, Rachel. Like, I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? This
is one of those moments where you're like, this is Housewives. If somebody said,
100%.
Tell me why you like Housewives, this is a scene you pull out. Because there's so many things happening in the scene that you could write. I write a full essay on. There's so many things happening. So they get to this dinner.
I'm Stephanie in this scene. Her being like, just looking around like, what is going on? But she did not laugh. I would have not laughed. I would have held it in, but been like, am I the only one experiencing this? Like, that was Stephanie.
I'm Larsa.
That's the best posture we've seen all season because she did not know what to do.
It was so good. Like, they're going to dinner. It's a traditional dinner. Flamenco is big there. Like, it is an experience when you go there. But I don't remember anybody singing to me when I was there. Like, I definitely remember the dancing and the attire and all of that, but I guess it was. So I forgot that it's supposed to be this super passionate singing. And so this guy looks like a modern day Meatloaf. That's one thing. He looks like, so he comes in with his long hair.
Oh my God.
I could do anything for love. Like, this is literally what it's reminding me of. So he comes in and he's like, I want to sing to you. And at first I thought Alexia was laughing because she's nodding her head.
No.
And like the camera is right in Alexia's face. That's also the part. So Alexia's nodding. So he's singing super passionate. Sometimes he's on key. Sometimes he's off key. It's in a different language. It wasn't good. It's in a different language. He's making it up. He's singing personally to her. This is not a real song. That's the other thing. This is not a real song. He is singing to her personally.
Oh, it's not a real song?
I don't think so.
I thought it was a song that they knew.
I didn't get that. It was too on the nose for her and her experience. I thought this was a freestyle song. That's what I thought. I would love somebody please tell me if it's a real song, and I'm sorry to the original artist, but I thought he was freestyling. And because it was so particular to her. So he's singing in Spanish. So that means Larsa doesn't understand. I don't
Larsa doesn't understand. Kiki doesn't understand. Gertie doesn't understand. And Julia.
I don't remember seeing Gertie. I don't even remember seeing Gertie says Kiki's deadpan.
Well, she was also confused. Kiki was like, what?
Alexia's crying. Because Marisol starts first. I was like, is Marisol wiping her eyes
but
because
she had a
she's
triangle.
laughing? I thought she was laughing. And then I was like, no, she's really crying. Then Alexia's crying. Then Larsa and Stephanie, first they grab each other, which I'm like, that would be you and me.
Yeah,
we would grab each other. They grab each other like, is this serious? And then Larsa goes, I'm sorry. I'm like, just like, what is going on? So Larsa is
I am not a Larsa fan, but I was like, thank you. It needed someone. Someone had to be like, by the way, didn't phase the singer at all.
No.
I don't even know if you heard it.
Alexia and Marisol. No. And that's the unhinged part. They are so enthralled in what Meatloaf is doing that they can't even see that Larsa and Stephanie are laughing at the whole situation. And there are 5 things happening in this one moment that is both serious and ridiculous at the same time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Real Housewives franchise. That is it. It was a beautiful moment. And then we go from that to them yelling at each other. And that is also what Housewives is. Alexia has this vulnerable moment. Marisol has this vulnerable moment. You would think that they might be a little bit like in touch with their feelings, a little quiet, a little bit like reflective over this beautiful experience that they believe that they had. And instead, it goes right back to the Chihuahua and the Rottweiler.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying things like she has a big head. She's just, and then they move on. And then they move on. And that is Housewives. That is Housewives. Give me these last 15, 20 minutes, and I will tell you that this entire season has been incredible. Just from that moment. It's everything that I need. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite Housewives scenes in a long time. I will say Salt Lake City has had a few, but like I was laughing at my screen. Like, what is going on right now? And then everyone just turned around and acted like everything was all good. They just kept going. Immediately after crying, Alexia and Stephanie go at it.
They go at it.
So it's just like, that was just like a moment that happens on a regular Tuesday.
It's a beautiful thing. We go into the second episode. I don't know how many people watched the second episode, but if there's anything you want to highlight from the second episode that stood out to you, we didn't even get into the Lisa of it all because we don't get Lisa until the second episode.
Well, Lisa at the very end of this episode comes and is just like, hello, blah, 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 like everything's fine. And they're like, wait, what happened to you? And she literally goes, pish posh, like, let's not worry about that. Which either I read Harry Potter and pish posh was in Harry Potter, or my 2-year-old was sitting on my lap and I was watching this. But I remember him looking at me and being like, what's pish posh mean? And I was like, it just means like,
it's cute.
Never mind. Who cares? I think if you're traveling in a group and you miss your flight or you're going to miss your flight, whether it's because you have a meeting with your lawyer or because you're staying in $100,000 villa in St. Bart's, you got to let me know you're not coming.
Yeah.
I don't think that's asking for too much.
Did Lisa get worse after the divorce? Because I don't remember her being this bad the first go around.
She seems more selfish. Like she's selfish, like pretty much only caring about herself. Yeah.
Doesn't care how and she almost uses the divorce as an excuse. Well, you don't know what I'm going through. Like, I deserve to be selfish. I deserve to be inconsiderate because my life is so hard right now. And I'm not taking that away from her, but that doesn't mean that you can't be a decent human being or a friend. And so when she had to travel over the river and through the woods to get to Sevilla, I wasn't mad about it. I was like, you know what? You're coming off of a St. Bart's vacation that you feel like you needed and somehow tied it into some legal
It was your fault.
Yeah. And so it's like, you know what? Close your eyes and ride the memories that you just had in St. Bart's until you get to Sevilla to make new ones. I just like don't. I traveled by myself. I had to carry my own luggage. I no one spoke the language. What's your point? What's your point? And then just to be like, it's tough for me to watch Lisa. Like last season, we at least could be like, we started to see it, but we were like, you know what? I can't imagine how hard and how public this all is, and the back and forth. But you have a new man. You seem to be okay. You're creating an app to help other women not go through the same experience that you are.
Yeah.
Like it is insufferable in a way where I've liked Lisa in the past, but I didn't miss her this first episode. I'm going to tell you that. But I appreciated the drama she bought in the second one. I appreciate the drama.
Yeah, but I did not miss her either. I did not miss her either.
Yeah.
In this episode.
Yeah.
So the second part of the episode is great. It's pretty much all Lisa and Larsa like going out at the entire trip. That's everything. I will say that they go into, well, there's two things that happen that are like kind of big in their like disagreement. I think that she should unfollow Marcus. It's not that big of an ask. You're not even like really friends with him. Why would you not unfollow him? I did think it was funny when Audriana was like, I still follow Lenny. So she was like, so I can't really say anything. But yeah, you unfollow him. It's an easy request. I mean, easy thing to do, not a big request, just do it. It also comes out that they had a conversation. I don't know if it was on the trip because it kind of like flashes back and it's like Larsa and Lisa talking. And Larsa was like, Jodi says that when we were wherever they were, Spain, Paris, whatever, or London, that I'm the one that called the paparazzi on Marcus to get him caught with the cocaine. And she's like, it's fucking ridiculous. And Lisa was like, that is literally what the paparazzi guy told us. Which also I'm like, how are you talking to the paparazzi guy? Like, how do y'all have, but whatever.
You didn't cover that one up well.
Yeah. And Larsa was like, am I the CIA? Have you lost your mind? And like starts screaming at her. And I guess Jodi starts like going in, texting Larsa like back to back. We never see the text messages though. So like we don't know what Jodi says. But like, I agree. Like, Jodi, why are you texting Larsa?
Yeah, like you need to stay out of it. You need to stay out of it. We also didn't need a confessional from him. I'm not a Larsa fan,
but like, she's right.
Yeah, we did not need a confessional from Jodi at all in this. The verdict is still out on Jodi. I'm not sure. I mean, even seeing them like have kind of a little back and forth in the confessional when he was like telling her to put her phone down and stuff like that. I'm like, before last season, I was like, oh, wow, these two are like really found each other. This season, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not seeing the chemistry and the love like I did before. I was going to ask you if you thought, because I know we've had a conversation before about staying friends with your friend's ex, but even if I was like, okay, Lisa, it's not as big of a deal. She's following him. Even if I thought that, which I do think she should unfollow, Lisa's reasoning for still following him is the reason why you should unfollow. Like you're doing it as something to hold over Larsa. Yeah. And being super vindictive. Well, if that's how you're going to do me, I'm just going to keep following him. He's a better friend to me than you are. What? Like,
then we're not friends.
Yeah. Like if it's one thing if they had an amicable split, but Marcus is out here. And again, I'm with you. I'm not like the biggest Larsa fan. Marcus is out here literally playing into negative things regarding Larsa. If I'm your friend, I can't be a part of that. Now you're showing me who you are as a person, and I don't want anything to do with that.
But it's also just like, I mean, this is what we're talking about, but like for what?
Yeah. You
did not know him beforehand. And it seemed like every single girl was on the same page. Like, you're not friends with him. You were never friends with him. So.
Yeah. It's even Marisol, she calls her little monkey. I feel like she's starting to be like, Lisa, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right, well, that's Miami. We spent a lot of time on Miami, so we'll be really quick with OC because we still have to get to the Valley, especially since that's the season
and your
finale
BFFs,
with that.
Janet and Jason.
And come on, Callie. Come on, Callie. Let's. I did run into them, and I actually had a very pleasant experience. I'm not going to act like it wasn't. They were lovely. But moving on to OC, real quick, because this episode really is about Tamara crashing out with the women. There's something going on with Tamara, and we know this. This is the episode where we get what leaked when the women were reported to be in New Orleans, and Tamara puts the post up that she's quitting the show. This is the episode that centers around that. So really this episode is the women go to a voodoo shop to make voodoo dolls. Shannon, Gretchen, and Tamara refuse to do it. Tamara and Gretchen, I don't really know why. Shannon, Shannon's into energy and all that stuff. So she's like, no. Gretchen's religious. Tamara, I get, she's in between. But the three of them, which I think it's funny, I think, Emily kind of is like, well, that's an odd bunch. That's an odd throuple. And it is. It's like, Tamara she's kind of playing nice with Shannon. She doesn't get along with Gretchen. Gretchen doesn't get along with Tamara. It's just a weird group. But Tamara uses this opportunity as they're separate from the group to tell them that she heard that Katie told Kiki Monique. Kiki Monique is really getting a lot of play. And I'm almost wondering, because she has a Sirius XM show under Bravo Andy, if this is purposeful, why we're getting so much Kiki Monique, because it's going to drive people to a Sirius XM subscription and possibly listening to this. That's my conspiracy theory, because we even get a picture with Katie and Kiki Monique, which I have met Kiki Monique. She's very lovely. I've met her in passing. But like, it is odd for Katie to snuggle up with someone who is doing the show. Like, even if I'm friendly with people in Bravo world, I'm not snuggling up to them as much. Sierra and I have a friendship, but I'm not like snuggling up to Sierra. Sierra's not a blogger. You know what I mean? She's not a blogger. Not a blogger. So it is suspicious. But Tamara uses this opportunity to tell Gretchen, I heard from two separate sources that Katie told Kiki Monique that I roofied you. So Katie is telling bloggers that I roofied you. And I think that Gretchen said it. I think she's saying that Gretchen said it. Yes, that Katie had been told by Gretchen that she was roofied by Tamara back in, those episodes.
Times, yeah.
When they said get her naked, wasted. That's what she's referring to. And Gretchen's like, I never told Katie that. And Tamara's like, well, I was told by two people that she told Kiki Monique that, and that you are the one who told her that. So at first Gretchen's upset and she's just like, oh my gosh, I never said that. And then as Gretchen goes to tell Jen and Katie this information that was brought to her. And Katie's like, I never said that. Why would I say that? I'm telling you I didn't. And Gretchen is kind of like changing her mind. She's like, you know what? This was an opportunity for Tamara to use the situation and to turn me against you because I was separate from you. And why would I trust? She's like, why would I trust Tamara?
Yeah.
Tamara's always been. So it's that whole thing. And then they get to this dinner. But before they get to the dinner, Tamara goes to see Shannon. And Shannon's like, are you drinking already? And mind you, earlier, Shannon's like, Tamara's like, you're never going to see me wasted again. You're never going to see me wasted. So she enters Shannon's room with a drink. And Shannon's like, are you drinking? She's like, no, this is just some water. I'm nervous. But then the camera zooms in on the drink. And the drink, it doesn't look clear as water. But there's also no ice in it. I thought it might have been wine, but it just doesn't look clear. And of course, they zoom in on it because they're trying to tell you guys, hey, we don't think it's water. It's water either. But they leave it alone. Tamara gets to this dinner and immediately, so all the women know about this alleged rumor. And they're like, do you think Gretchen told Katie? And we, the audience, know Gretchen told Katie. So immediately they get in. Shit hits the fan, but it hits the fan in a different way. The ladies kind of start to call Tamara out. Tamara's yelling. She's telling people to shut the fuck up. She's being like, fuck off. And Gina, who's sober, is like, you're sloshed. You got one eye closed. you're yelling, but then you're getting really quiet. It was kind of odd behavior from Tamara and irrational in a way that's different from Tamara irrational. And Tamara walks out, leaves. They're following her like, what is wrong with you? And she's like, I'm done. I've had enough. Because Gina's like, you're being rude. You're sloshed. Heather's saying things that are like in defense of Jen and Katie, and Tamara's like, everybody's ganging up on me. She walks out. She's like, enough. I've had enough. I'm done with this. The producer comes out and they're like, are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm not okay. I want to go home. The ladies kind of insinuate that maybe Tamara took something in addition to the drink because she just seems out of it.
Off. Yeah.
Even Jen goes, I actually don't want to have this conversation with you about the photo because the photo comes up and the fat shaming again. She's like, I actually am uncomfortable because you don't seem okay. You don't seem in your right mind. I'd rather have this conversation later. And so Tamara storms off. She gets in a car. She's like, y'all need to call me an Uber or get me a car. She calls Eddie, asks Eddie in the car to get her a flight home. And then she texts Gina and she says, fuck off. And she texts, and then here's a weird moment. She texts Gina and she says, fuck off. And then Katie grabs her phone and she goes, let me see if I have a message from her. Katie, who is texting you? No, do you think a voodoo doll? Was that something that you requested? Like, it's just like, Katie's like, let me see if I have a missed text from her.
The last person that Tamara is texting is you, Katie.
This is where I'm like, Katie is delusional on certain, she like lives in her own world. But she texts Gina. I think she texts some other person. Maybe, she texts Gina and she tells, oh no, it was Gina.
Just said Gina.
It was somebody else she texts to. Anyways, she's like, fuck off. I don't know. I can't remember who it was. She's like, fuck off. I'm done with the show. And then that's where at the end we get the social media post where she's like, I've had enough, blah, 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 blah. I'm peace out. I'm leaving the show, which we all saw in real time when it happened. And that's where the show ends. So they're like, Tamara quit the show. Look, Gina's like, look what she just posted on social media. And Gretchen's like, I knew it. I knew she was going to quit the show. I knew she was going to do this. And that's where the episode ends. So it's a Tamara crash out. And obviously we know she's going through it. You know, she says Teddy's her best friend. She's opened up to Teddy. She says this on this episode. I opened up to Teddy in ways that I never have in a long time with women. And she's like, if I lose Teddy or the worst happens, I'm never going to get close to anybody again. And then that coupled with, they were just in New Orleans with Teddy. And then like a couple of days later, she found out about the multiple tumors in her body. So it's like, Tamara's just not okay. She actually needs to go home. She needs to go home at this point. Yeah.
New Orleans is also like a trigger place for her, I feel. So it was just bad on a few levels.
So, I mean, we know Tamara at this point doesn't quit the show, but that is where the show ends. It ends with a to be continued. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So that is that. That is OC. That is Miami. Now we move on to the reunion part 3 of The Valley with Jodi Walker, who is decked out in a ringer hat.
Guys. I will be back next week to talk Gilded Age. Bravo.
You got to watch. Jodi, are you watching The Gilded Age?
Not yet, and I'm really disappointed in myself. It seems like everyone's having so much fun.
Everyone's watching it.
Everyone's watching. It's monoculture.
I started
I need to
episode 1. I started episode 1, and enough to where we had a lot of conversation about it. I love the themes that are in the post-Reconstruction era. So, like, it's great.
I'm going to watch it.
One episode in.
You talking it on Bravo?
I compared it to something. Bravo? I compared it to something. I can't remember what it was.
We were talking about Stephanie being new money.
Nouveau riche.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, society, they would have never accepted her into
She's
society.
Got sparkle threads going through those Chanel blazers. That's nouveau.
Yeah.
But yet they need her money, right? Because it's out with the old, in with the new. So it's it's giving Gilded Age. Yeah. Stephanie is Carrie Coon's character. Mrs. Russell. That's her name. Mrs. Russell.
Bye, guys. I'll be back.
Bye.
Bye, Callie.
I feel like I should put on my Ringer baseball cap too.
I always sort of start. I don't have that many hats. So like when it's
a hair
wise, I need to wear a hat. It's the Ringer dad hat, babe.
It's a good one. I wear mine. I know I faithfully wear mine.
Yeah.
I faithfully wear it. It's a good hat. Okay. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of like kismet. We're talking about the final episode of The Valley, and it might never look, I don't know if I should say it'll never look the same, but we know that as they are going to pick up for season 3, it won't be the same because we won't have Jax, which neither will Morally Corrupt.
Rachel,
Jodi?
I know you are not drawing a direct Jax to Jodi comparison right now.
Yeah.
This is the meanest thing you could do to me.
As Morally Corrupt is never going to look the same either. Jodi?
It might look the same from time to time. As Rachel knows and the rest of the crew knows, this is my last official Morally Corrupt day. I'm still in the fray. I'm still at the Ringer. I am, as you know, a writer at the Ringer. I'm co-host our other internet and culture podcast, We're Obsessed. I'm working on a narrative pod, so keep your eye out for that.
Oh.
And just very sadly,
It's a lot.
I'm going to have to log off of Morally Corrupt for a while. But, it's just the best time. Rachel, talking with you about Bravo.
It doesn't have to stop.
And it will not, is the thing. And I don't mean to break the fourth wall too much, but the talking about Bravo won't stop on our end. And for listeners, feel free to DM me with any thoughts. I'll still be watching.
And you can still pop in from time to time. If you're not watching this, Jodi is dressed in black for the occasion.
It's black for mourning. It's and watch us on YouTube. Watch Morally Corrupt on YouTube. Watch it on the Spotify
subscribe.
app. Subscribe. Wearing black for mourning. Wearing the Ringer to. I mean, really, Rachel. Actually, I should tell you this that before I started at the Ringer, the Ringer podcast and Housewives podcast were my favorite podcasts in the world. That's what I love to listen to. So when I started at the Ringer and got to help start our Bravo podcast, that was kismet. That was just the best thing. That was kismet. And to get to link up with you and Callie and Chelsea and Julia and our amazing producers, the whole gang, it's just been the best.
And we love you, and we want you to stay in. We will not kick you out of the group chat, which
Don't
I know
kick
is
me
something
out of the group chat.
I know. Can you imagine if when this episode ends, I put Jodi Walker removed from
Rachel has removed Jodi from the chat because she's Jax. You're gonna Andy Cohen me.
No, I would absolutely never. But in true dramatic flair, Jodi sends a text message to me and Callie, and it's just like, I'm no longer going to be on the show. And so, of course, we're like, wait, are you leaving the Ringer? Are you okay? What's happening? There's no context. There's no detail. It's just, I
thought there was so much. I had written the longest text and then I deleted 6 sentences from it because I was like, Jodi, you're explaining yourself too much. And then you guys were like, what the fuck is going on? I'm very sorry.
Happy you're still in the family.
It's all very casual. It's just taking a break from our Friday recordings. And I would say if people want to keep up with my other thoughts elsewhere, like I said, always writing on theringer.com. What a great website. Talking about pop culture over on We're Obsessed. I have my Binge Miss podcast come holiday time. I'm on the Prestige TV feed, all over the network. So I'm going to miss publicly talking about Bravo, but rest assured I'll still be fuming.
What are you covering on Prestige TV?
It's always different.
It's always different. Yeah.
The last thing I was covering was The Rehearsal, which is one of my favorite shows on television.
I don't watch that.
And Rachel, we talked about this a lot on The Rehearsal conversation because I was covering it with Charles, who doesn't really do reality TV. And he was so much more startled by the show than I was because it's kind of like part docuseries, part social experiment, part reality TV with Nathan Fielder, who is like an absurdist sort of comedic writer and creator. He made Nathan For You. And Charles, who many who listen to The Ringer would know to be hardened by this earth, was so much softer than I was. I was so hardened to so many of the things that I've seen on reality TV that for me, The Rehearsal is like a walk in the park. It's so weird, but I love it.
Interesting.
So I really, for people who like sort of like absurdist comedy and reality TV, you got to watch The Rehearsal.
This is it. Okay. I'll put it on the list because I'm Gilded Age, and
it's over on your favorite network where they are the Gilded Age. HBO.
I'm a big HBO Max watcher, and maybe do we cover Gilded Age on?
Yes, Nora and Mallory just did an
Damn it.
episode on Prestige TV, a check-in, but it just went up, so everybody listen.
Yeah, okay.
It really is a ringer up.
It is it's a ringer up. Love that. Okay, let's get into this part 3 of the reunion.
I'm going to make you sign my yearbook at the end of this
You were
show.
not privy to this information before, and Callie kind of threw it in, and I wasn't going to say it. We were talking about it off mic, but I went to a premiere, Netflix premiere, and I saw Jason and Janet, and they were with Jared, who I know Jared because Jared and I were dancing in the streets and in the courtroom at the same time that the Britney conservatorship was ended.
Yeah.
Because I was working for Extra, and he was there on behalf of the Britney fans. And he gave this beautiful speech, to which, something we laugh about, to which after a court hearing like this, and there's like a verdict, or this isn't a verdict, but a decision that's made, a ruling, there's usually reporters, they set up, they all put their mics up at the podium, and they're waiting for the lawyers to come out or the people involved to give a statement. So we were waiting on Britney's lawyer. Jared takes it upon himself to step up to the podium and give a speech. It was passionate. It was beautiful. And all like the cameramen are like, get away from the podium. Who are you? It was so funny, but I knew him at this point already. So I'm dying laughing. But afterwards we were dancing in the street. I was like, get the camera. Everybody was so excited. They had shut down the street in front of the courtroom to dance for Britney and her freedom. Was that a good decision? I don't know. But that is what came out. So Jared comes over to me, and he's with Janet.
Last night, or at this premiere.
Yes.
Okay.
He's with Janet and Jason. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be that close. You know what I mean? Because I know I have talked a lot. And so imagine it's like, okay, I'm cordial. I'm nice, whatever. I say hello. And imagine my surprise when Jason says, I love The Ringer, and I listen to you guys. He said, I listened.
Hey, Jason.
He said, I listened to season 1, and I thought maybe I don't need to listen to season 2. And I said, maybe that's a good idea.
Which is interesting for him to have had that thought and that sort of like self-editing process, because what I've noticed in this 3-part reunion is how often he says like, I watched the show, kind of as though to say like, maybe you guys didn't watch as closely as I did. Like it's almost innocent the way that Jason can't understand this season, how people have different perspectives on like the same thing.
Well, what I gather is, I mean, Jason's a lawyer, so he's coming at it with an analytical mind.
Rachel, I'm so sorry. I do have to cut you off and say that every time you say lawyer, you're saying it differently. And, you know, this is a conversation happening in the Ringerverse right now. You said lawyer a second ago. Then you just said lawyer. I think that you're...
I say lawyer. I say lawyer.
That your Southern Belle and your Coastal Elite are warring with each other.
I say lawyer.
You do.
I say lawyer.
Lawyer, like according to my Instagram poll, about 20% of people say.
Lawyer. I think I say, well, I was recently in Texas, and Van said, and immediately he said, on Hirelers like 2 weeks ago, and he goes, oh God, I can tell you've been back in Texas. Because I said something, I was like, yeah, you know, my friend. And he was
my
like,
friend. It's true. That's what's been so jarring. We can take this out, but if we keep it in, it's I was saying we were talking about lawyers on We're Obsessed, and all of a sudden people kept being like, I don't even know what Jodi's saying. What is she saying? And I so rarely am accused of having a Southern accent, and apparently I have this very regional pronunciation of lawyer.
It comes out when I'm loud, excited, drinking.
If I have 2 glasses of wine or I talk to my aunts on the phone, that's when my Southern accent comes out.
It comes out because my dad has more of a Southern accent than he likes to admit. But when I was practicing law, I think I was very thoughtful and controlled. But now it's like this free for all, and it comes out more. But I'm proud of it. But lawyer,
I am too. I was just so
lawyer.
Surprised because what was surprising is I had never even noticed that other people say lawyer.
I didn't either.
And now It's coming up everywhere. It's coming up in pop culture. It's coming up on, it's like we're talking about lawyers all over the place. I can't stop thinking about it.
Well, when I hear you say lawyer and I say lawyer, I still think we said the same thing. It wasn't until you separated, I'm like, oh shit, there is a difference there. It's like, it took me forever to understand the difference between 10 and 10. I was like, that's what I said, 10. And they're like, no, it's 10. And I'm like, that's what I said. It took me forever to get it.
Rachel, do you know what someone said to me? They were like, hearing you say lawyer like that is like hearing Britney say date night.
No. It's like date night.
And I believe it. It seems that the way that I say it throws people off their axis so much and that's how I feel about date night.
Date night. Rotten hell.
Rotten hell.
No, hers is different. Kentucky's different.
I'm going to do what Britney did and I'm just going to lean into it. And like 6 years from now, when you listen to old clips of me, you won't believe how country I sound now.
No, you and I probably have more similar accents than you do with Britney.
Date night.
Okay. So yes, I met these. No. I met them. They were lovely. Jason listens. I said to him, he doesn't listen to the new episode. I was like, you should, think about maybe coming on the podcast. I said, I just had Scheana on. We're fair. We're going to ask the tough questions, but it'll still be a comfortable place. So I was like, just think about it, because he doesn't really do that much. So we'll see what happens there. I would love to sit down with Jason, but to your point of I think he watches the show as a lawyer, with a lawyer mindset. See, when I watch the show, I take all that out. This is my escape. But because he's in it, I think he's watching it, analyzing it, so he can have his points made, and nobody else on the couch is doing that. So it's like, I feel like he's operating. I'm not saying I agree with the things that he was doing, but I think he's operating at a level that nobody else is coming in with. So to your point, when he's like, I watched the show, I'm like, well, Jack's already said he doesn't watch it. So
yeah, exactly. He's coming in with like reason and they're coming in with chaos. And those two things cannot exist in one room together well. And so like there were several times, especially in this part, so interesting you just had this conversation with him, where he clearly had something, where he was expecting a certain response to it. And when it didn't get that response, he couldn't argue back. Like he didn't have, and in a, I don't know exactly, I don't know if he's a litigator, but like in a courtroom.
No, they said workers' comp.
He does workers' comp, but in a courtroom, you give a response, someone else gives a response. Interrupting is notably really not welcome in the courtroom. And that's all a reunion is. It's like chiming in with your opinion. These are not measured responses. And there is an element to Jason, more so in season 1, that I really appreciated because he was really measured. He gave things thought. I think he's still doing that, but he's like almost not allowing. He's clearly an emotional person. He's not like allowing his emotions to move him. He seems to really be allowing Janet to move him. And this third part especially was a bad showing.
It was, and I feel like, and I actually said this to Janet. I said, a lot of people say to me, Rachel, you were on reality TV. Like they're in my DMs. So like, why are you not considering production? And I said this to Janet. I said, I can't do that. Because I will not do an enjoyable podcast if sometimes we acknowledge it, but if every scene that happens, I'm like, well, you can't really give too much credit for that because we might not be seeing the whole thing. They do hours of filming. What we're getting from Janet might play into a certain narrative, and this might not be if I do that, everyone would be like, Rachel, shut the fuck up. I said, and I told Janet this, I said, when I watch the show, I watch it like a viewer and I podcast on what I am seeing. I rarely say, well, that might not be it, because I'm watching it as a fan of the show, not as a former reality TV person. I don't know how your producers are. I don't know this production company. I don't know anything like that. So I said, if it comes off harsh or like I'm not understanding, or maybe I'm trying to act like I'm above it, I'm not. I'm watching it like a viewer watches it. And that's the hat I wear.
I would think that also, as someone who has been on reality TV, you also know, like, it's what you signed up for.
Right.
Like, you signed up to be produced and edited. You know what's coming. Even more so, these people know what's coming. Like, because we're so many years into this. And I think that most audience members also watch with an awareness of production. Like, of course, you're not getting the whole story. We didn't even see the Danny and Jasmine thing. It was like during a time they weren't filming, you know, and it was talked about during a time they weren't filming. We know that this stuff is Frankenstein together. And that's the sort of like true crimey part of watching some of this stuff, is that like you're searching for the essence within that. And I know that it can be incredibly frustrating when the audience, especially the audience as a whole, like, and in the case of Janet, I would say that most of the audience is aligned. It could be really frustrating to feel so misunderstood.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a chance to look inward a little.
Yeah, I think, and I also think Jason is not playing any games. Jason is literally coming in with who he is, and that's it. Whereas Kristen knows what to do and what not to do. I actually think that's Kristen, but she knows how this reality TV game works. Jax knows it. Brittany knows it. Janet is being accused of trying to do that as well, just not well enough to the point where, you know, she's not being called out about it. Kristen even says things multiple times this reunion where, across the 3 parts, where she's kind of like, that's what this is. Yeah. This is how, you know?
She's getting so
mad.
And
I just don't think Jason is doing that. So his frustrations are kind of like, it's like he knows things that have happened, whether it's on production's end or the cast end, and he can't bring it in, but he wants to because everything is so literal to him, rather than understanding that sometimes people play into certain things or the dynamics. And that's where he gets frustrated. He can't even see that his own wife is doing it a little bit too. Because Kristen
he is playing the game a little bit now, because he's playing it in Janet's stead, sort of. And it's almost like he doesn't even realize that he's doing it. I think as someone probably who is accustomed to like being very true to themselves, maybe I think he's getting played. Like I think that he is playing in it, but he has this rigidity, whereas Kristen is like wildly flexible. And at the times where the edit or the production has fallen into Kristen being the villain, she has maybe not happily embraced it, but wildly embraced it. Like she's done it all. And she's survived it and landed on the other side by being able to be like, what did she say to Janet? She was like, no, I'm not, my reputation, because I guess they had said her reputation is like a liar and an exaggerator. She was like, my reputation isn't lying and exaggerating. It's rooting out the truth. And particularly sitting in the times where she had rooted out the truth and no one believed her. Now, this is, you could call it a bit of an exaggeration, because Kristen has lied plenty in her time on this show. Yeah. Notably about like hooking
Stassi.
up with her best friend's ex or current or whatever. Notably about that, but also, like when she found Miami Girl, all that stuff was true. And she just had to be called Crazy Kristen when the truth was somewhere in between. She was crazy and she was also right. Yeah. And like, that's I think what is really hard for Janet and Jason is that they, especially Janet, want to be perceived as right so badly that they are frequently being wrong, like making stuff up and lashing out. And like, I mean, we'll get to it because it's more towards the end of the reunion, but like when they're trying to prove that that everyone says hurtful words on this cast, and then they're like to Danny, like, you called Michelle a whore, and he's like, I did not call her a whore. And they're like, well, you said that she was sleeping with billionaires for money, which first of all is something he repeated and made clear he was repeating.
Right.
Like, he said Jesse said this. And then Jason, see, it's Jason getting away from himself. You can tell Jason is like, oh, well, so like we can't paraphrase now?
Yes.
You're a lawyer.
You can't paraphrase in that. It's not like you're repeating a text message. Like, you're literally saying he called her a name, a derogatory name, which he never said. And so it's like, this is where you guys lose credibility when it comes to the drinking thing with Danny, you know, or Jason says everybody on this cast has a drinking problem.
He thought that was going to land. And everyone erupted. Like the whole stage goes wild. People who do have drinking problems and people who don't have drinking problems. Everybody goes crazy.
It was like, you're right. You said it so right when you're like, he was losing his way. He was so frustrated and so trying to defend Janet, who was very quiet. Like, I was like, if we get one more flash of Janet just with those lips tightly pursed together, looking at, like, it's almost like they had a signal, like looking over at Jason. Like, it just
Did
was
you see when
much.
they're talking about Kristen's very pretty engagement ring and they're kind of being like, oh, wow, great job, Luke, amazing. And Jason is like, it's 4 carats. And then kind of everyone's yelling so no one hears him. So he says it again. He's like, that ring is 4 carats. And Janet like darts her eyes at him. She could have just been looking at him. But you're right. Like, we just saw that framing of her so much that I was like, oh, she's pissed he said that.
She was cold. She was stiff. It's almost like she came in and she was like, I'm not going to
be so calm.
I'm not going to be
so calm.
And then it was almost like, I'm going to let Jason do all the things for me. And it didn't come across well at all. I'm tired of the Danny drinking. I mean, Danny, it got frustrating because it's like, what more? And I'm not saying I'm team Danny and Nia over the other, but it's like, what more can Danny do? He has acknowledged it. He has said it. I'm not talking about just what he did to Jasmine and Melissa. I'm just saying about him drinking too much, about him he keeps saying it and they keep going at it. And when Janet did speak and she alluded to, you've done more things, she never said what it was. She said the Super Bowl. And it's like you can't do that and not give some type of specificity to what it is. That's a huge accusation. And Nia's right. Like, you're messing with somebody's reputation. Danny's a freaking Disney guy. So he does softer things and you're accusing him as he's this serial sexual assaulter. And if he is, then you need to be able to back up those claims because now you're teetering on a legal claim.
Right. Because, and that's the thing is like Janet really, you know, exactly zaps her credibility in those instances where she's like, this has happened again and again. And she's not specific and she misspeaks and she equates things. But then out of the exact same side of her mouth, she's going to say like, well, let's be specific. It's sexual assault. Let's be specific. You can't argue in both directions and expect to be seen as correct in both directions. Like, if you're going to do both things, one of them is probably going to be perceived as wrong. And also, I couldn't believe coming into this conversation, knowing that the fact that Janet had said Danny sexually assaulted Jasmine and Melissa, that like no one was coming with the memorized legal facts around how sexual assault is defined in California. Like, no one's saying it. They're all kind of like, no, I think she's right. And that, like, I am no lawyer. But anytime there is legal stuff going on in the Bravo world, I would always recommend listening to or looking at the Bravo docket, which is another podcast to lawyers, to attorneys. Someone was like, Jodi, just say attorney. To attorneys who have a podcast, and a lot of times they do kind of like deeper dives on this kind of stuff. And so the first time this came up, they did one and you know, they're not making any like legal declarations either. They're just kind of giving you the facts. And they talk about that in California, the legal definition of sexual assault is 1, touching an intimate part of another person, which does include butt. 2, the touching is against the will of the other person. And 3, and this is where things get a little tricky in this scenario, and like Janet can't just say I'm the wife of a lawyer, so I get to say anything, is if the touching is done for the specific purpose of sexual arousal, sexual gratification, or sexual abuse, which makes within California, the misdemeanor of sexual battery a specific intent crime. So like when they sort of started to get into this thing of like, well, would this land in court? And Kristen's like, what is he?
Workers' comp.
He's a workers' comp attorney. And he basically is like, no, it is because like Janet, who is the one saying this, who wasn't there when it happened, would have to be able to prove intent.
Right.
And so she can say that it's like legally the right term, but she can't prove it. So like, and as I think Danny and Nia are saying, that's up for Jasmine and Melissa to decide. It's just, she keeps getting in these really muddy waters and pretending like they're black and white. And that is very frustrating.
Right. What is Janet's job?
I think that she used to be Cameron Diaz's personal assistant.
Seriously?
I read that on the internet. I did not fact check it. I do think she used to be a personal assistant. I think
she
that
does
was her job.
Something, because even when I was with her, when I was there, she said, I film all this stuff. You don't even see me working. You don't see me. And I thought to myself, yeah, what do you do?
Janet was Cameron Diaz's assistant at Diaz's wine company, Aveline. So maybe she does kind of like marketing.
I mean, I would also like to know what Janet does, because
doesn't she notably not like wine? Isn't that her?
But maybe that's why she's good at the job. Like, she's not going to drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't have to drink it necessarily as the assistant, or to be knowledgeable about it in that way.
Wait, Zach was Nicole Scherzinger's assistant. So they were both formerly assistants.
That's like, I feel like a lot of people who move here become.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
want
you work
to be
your way into
want to be in
something
the
else.
world.
It's the original, like,
or a nanny.
Working at SUR, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you're a nanny or you're an assistant. So I was when Zach and Brittany were talking about their origin story, which I was very charmed to hear, that like he used to date someone on her cheer team, and they were like, and then that guy was crazy, but we stayed friends. He said something about that he was like working on his MBA. I was like, I didn't know Zach had an MBA.
Hear that part. But I wondered, because most of them have jobs. I mean, Jasmine does real estate.
Most of their jobs are real estate of the jobs that we know.
Yeah.
Michelle and Jesse. Don't know what Zach does. Now I know that he has an MBA and he used to work for Nicole Scherzinger. I imagine he like still does something like that. Don't know what Janet does. So. Now I know that Jason does workers' comp.
We don't know what Nia does.
I don't know what Luke does. I would like to know what Luke does, because Luke moved away from where he lived to be in LA, and then he bought Kristen a 4-carat ring. So I would like to know what he does.
What kind of diamond was it?
Well, I don't know.
Because nowadays,
I know you can get one for less, but
yeah,
it was pretty.
It was beautiful. This is no knock. A lot of people are doing alternatives to diamonds, whether it's an ethical reason,
for lots of good reasons,
or or it's cost or financial reason. But they all look beautiful. Because who was it recently that I was looking at, and they had like, Scheana.
What's she got going on?
A 12 carat, and I was like, what the fuck? But it's not a diamond. It's like a it starts with an M, whatever it is, and.
Great combo with Scheana, by the way, Rachel.
Oh, thank you.
Tune in if you haven't, even if you're feeling
God, I wanted so
fatigue.
Much more.
I know. You did a great job.
There were so many more follow-ups. There were so many. Like, I didn't realize that, you know how like when you're doing thank you first, by the way, but you know when you're doing an interview, you always ask yourself, is the person long-winded? Because then that determines how you're going to. That's no shade, because I can be long-winded too. It's just like determines, okay, what kind of time am I going to have? I don't know why I didn't know she was long-winded. So the first answer, I was like, fuck, I have too many questions for this.
And like, how am I going to ask the exact right ones that might eventually loop her around into kind of saying what I want? Yeah, because that is a good, a lot of my interviews, like for reporting, are ultimately edited down. So then if they go on and on, that's actually a perk for me, because they're like probably going to get somewhere. But if it's kind of an in real time,
it's tough. And then you don't want to be too heavy on like the gossip and the hard stuff. You want to provide it's like it's a balancing game. It's an art.
But when you were like, is Janet a fan? And she was like, well, aren't you? And you were like, but I'd never go on the show.
Yeah, you tried it. You
were ready. You were ready with your lawyer rebuttal.
You tried. The only thing I said, when I was like, I said, do you want to be on the Valley? And then I was like, do you want to do reality TV? Are you going to be on the Valley? And then I said, I'll be honest, I'm a critic. I do not think you should be there. Convince me why. And she's like, well, let me put it this way. If I'm on the Valley, it's because I'm wanted on the Valley. I said, okay, we can move on. I'm not gonna argue with you with that. You sure are right, because production has to let you on and pay you. That is a great answer. I said,
it is a good answer on her end. Cause like, yeah, I'm not gonna, if someone offers Scheana a job, I'm not gonna be like, hey, Scheana, don't take the job because it's gonna make the show that I like, I don't know, the show that I enjoy watching from between the cracks in my fingers, like it's gonna make it worse. It's like, that's to argue with Andy Cohen about, you know? It's like, get Jax off this show. Okay, they finally did it. Like, she's right. It's not up to them.
And it's clear from her answer she's going to be on the Valley. Like, it's so clear that she's going to be a part of the show from it all. And, like, good for her. I'm not trying to stop anybody's money. I don't want to see it as a fan.
It will stop if the show is worse and it gets canceled.
Yes, it will. It will. And she says in her book, she's like, I don't think production likes Brock. So I'm almost kind of like, and that's a follow-up question I wanted to say is, your marriage is important to you. You're working on it. You don't think production likes Brock. How do you think that this is actually going to do well for your marriage? Because the cheating thing is also going to come up. So that's something you're going to have to relive. And I'm not saying we give Brock a pass by any means, but I just don't understand how, if that happened 3-4 years ago and you've worked these years to move on for it, and now you got to go back to 2021. Because she got teary-eyed when we were talking in the interview, because you have to go back and relive those moments. And that's tough. So I don't know. I understand maybe monetarily wise, you might need it, but y'all better have the therapy down pat, because it's not going to be easy. Luke and Kristen really have grown to love them. They really seem like a solid couple, and that they do understand each other from season 1 to season 2. They really seem to have a solid foundation. I liked the little moment that we got with them. I got to say this about my girl, Jasmine. As much as I love Jasmine, I'm going to need her to stand 10 toes down on what she believes. I have to say this. I have to keep it real. You're talking about Jasmine in group chats obviously with the other women. Janet. And then when you get there, you can't articulate what you feel because you're tiptoeing around your true feelings. It's like, I know you had a friendship with Janet. Jasmine spit it out.
Jasmine stands tiptoes down. She does not stand 10 toes down. That is absolutely true. Like she can't. And like, I do think it's kind of that she's emotional too. Like, I don't know. She and Jason kind of seem to have like a special bond with each other and seem to sort of have that in common, that they want to be friends, they want to be friends with each other. They want to be friends with everybody. And it makes them kind of inconsistent. They have a good conversation with someone where they forgive them. They really seem to, or they come to an understanding. Like we've seen this with Jason and Danny. We've seen it with Jasmine and Danny and other people. And then they go home and they think about it, or they talk to someone about it, and they get revved up again. And it just makes them seem inconsistent.
Yeah.
Especially in like a 12-hour filmed reunion where they're just, Jasmine is literally saying stuff out of two sides of her mouth. She's saying something like in the direction of the crowd out loud and then kind of whispering out of the corner of her mouth to Zach.
I know. I literally was like, we need to change this. We need to move on. Because Jasmine's not doing herself any favors. She's talking in circles. You're clearly trying to maintain something with Janet for like public facing, but behind her back, you're speaking a totally different thing. And you just need to figure it out. Yeah, like you clearly aren't okay with Janet. You're not okay. And you won't even get down to, even when they're like, what was that outburst about? So I understand Janet and Jason's confusion, because you're one way with us in private and another way with us in public. And so
But then Janet and Jason also don't listen. Like they have clearly placed themselves in the role of like victim of reality TV sort of within this construct, because literally everyone, like Jessie, who doesn't really have skin in the game, Jasmine, who actually was really close with Janet, everyone is saying that they liked Janet, they were friends with Janet, and then she acted very differently during filming. If everyone is saying something to you, it is not some huge conspiracy theory that they have created off camera. 'Cause like if people were like, if these dramatic people were that capable of kind of like creating a storyline and pushing it to a degree, like in the face of the truth and honesty, then Jax would have been off this show ages ago. Like, I do feel like that's kind of the rebuttal to everything. You know, Jason saying that, like, or they're both saying don't sweep what Danny did under the rug, while they are happily sweeping, like, very credible abuse allegations about Jax under the rug. You know, they're not going hard on him. They're going hard on Danny and Nia because Danny and Nia stand in opposition to them. And like the ground is just really unsteady and everyone's telling them something because it's true. Like, and I wish that Janet would either embrace being a villain or would be like, okay, what's making me act differently here? Because the most generous interpretation is really that like, she got on camera and got confused about who she was.
No, yeah. Or she was trying to overthink it. I could see that happening to me. Like, I'm like, oh, I think they're going to do this, so I'm going to do this. And then so it might not even be that she's not being herself. She is overthinking it and trying to produce. And so she's coming across as not being genuine rather than just living her life. And I think she looks at Nia and Danny and it's like, that's how she thought that she and Jason were going to come across. She really did.
And they were so close. I mean, they were like, it could have been that but we also can't have two of those. Like we can't have, you know, but Jason was pretty innocuous in the first season. Like, if he was listening to us talk about him in the first season, it was kind of like, what's up with this Jason guy? He seems normal. And now it's like, oh no, he got warped.
He probably wasn't watching first season. And then maybe second season, he was like, I don't know.
Now he's watching like me when I take notes to like recap something. I'm like in Gollum position and I'm just like,
stop, rewind, do it over again. No, I know exactly what you mean. Last but not least, I mean, Michelle and Jesse, is Jesse still with this girlfriend? I hope so, because I want her on this new season. If she's coming in with this type of drama, threatening people with legal situations where Michelle is like, I can't say a thing, where Jesse is like, you guys did this and Andy's, it was such a good moment when Andy's like, do you realize what show you're on? You bet you we put a boom in front of her. This is a hot set. You're on a reality TV show. This is what we do. Loved it. So he might have scared Jesse away from filming with her, but I want her because this girl is clearly down with the shits.
Oh, I think he's probably scared Jesse in the opposite direction, which was like, you think that you don't get to do this, my guy. You're not in charge. I love when Andy has like kind of a different relationship with the younger shows that started later, you know? So like even Vanderpump, I think is a little bit different because the cast members used to like have the power. Now like Andy and Bravo itself, and I mean, this has been for a long time, but have like the fandom. Like we devote ourselves to Bravo, sort of, like not to Vicky Gunvalson anymore. And it's like, and no one's like a Jesse head, I don't think. So like in that power dynamic, every once in a while, Andy will really put his foot down and be like, this is the way the game works. And I know because I made the fucking game, you know? And like, and Jesse, I did wonder the part where he says, what does he say? He's like, you understand? Like he's his dad. That part seemed a little bit edited to me, like a little bit clipped together, but it worked for him to be like, you understand? And Jesse like darts his eyes down to his lap and says, yeah. Like know your place because you need this show, okay? We know you need this show. And your place is like that it's not going to work to date someone off camera. If she like, and for that person to be crazy, like, or that person to be wild now.
She clearly wants to be on, she showed up. So she wants it. So we want her. As Andy said.
We want her. It's such an unusual character trait to be that wild and dramatic, but not want to be filmed. It's like, that's what gets like Jen Shah, et cetera, in trouble, is like, I'm living wildly and I believe that this should be captured. Yeah. This woman at least has the good sense to be like, I'm living wildly and it shouldn't be captured, but she's dating Jesse. So...
Or maybe she just got so wild, she was like, now I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this on, which we love. And the last thing I'll say about this that I love so much is when they kind of have this moment where they're making fun of Jax. And they're all kind of like, you said that this was your show. And you said, which was crazy because he said that before and then he got let go and that's happening again. And it's like, that's when you know he's gone too far, flown too close to the sun. And then they're like, you said that you were going to fire us all from the show. And he was like, I don't have the capability. And they're like, we know. And they cut to Brittany and she's like, and it's like the most maniacal unhinged laugh. And I thought that's the theme of this. And even when we see them all say goodbye, which I love that they gave us, and Brittany alludes to it. She's like, Andy's trying to say, I feel like Jax has done this. And Brittany's like, we'll see. We'll see. Because she knows she's going to get in her car and Jax is going to rage text her. Jax is going to say something, unhinged. And she just knows that this was all for show. And I love that he's like, am I going to see Cruz on Monday? And she's like, I don't know. I'll see.
Which is like, I'll text you about it. We're not talking about this.
Yeah. Stop trying to perform.
And yes, you are not invited back into my life. I really hope that she sticks strong with that as much as she can. I am concerned with like him being off the show because it's, first of all, sort of like a lack of documented accountability. Sure. And also, you're right, like this is a cycle. He flies too close to the sun. He really exposes like the narcissism of like, this is my show. He gets fired and then he like completely hits rock bottom.
Yeah.
So it's been season 2. I honestly can't believe the show is only 2 seasons in. It's like,
I know.
And the last one was like 11 episodes. The season 1, this one was at least longer. It's so much lore.
So much, and so much more to expect. We love the Valley. The Valley doesn't disappoint, but as I started this off, the Valley is not going to look like it did before. We're losing Jax. We're probably getting Scheana. Who knows if we get Lala too. Very similar to this. We're losing Jodi. Will we get somebody else? I don't know.
Could it be Scheana? Maybe.
You're still in the family. You're just a cousin now. You're still you're a cousin.
That's right.
You're on the side.
I come to the family reunion.
We hope that you pop in and out, but obviously, you guys, hopefully you're not just a fan of Morally Corrupt, you're a fan of The Ringer in general. So you can catch Jodi in all different ways. Like, she's not going anywhere. So
yeah, I'd say the best place to find out what I'm doing is like probably on my Instagram, which isn't that prolific, but I'm posting links. I'm posting the debate about how to say lawyer. And I will always come back to the family reunion when called upon. It's been the best.
You better. You guys, that is it for us here on Morally Corrupt. Make sure you guys have a beautiful weekend. Stay safe, and we'll catch you guys on Tuesday. We will be covering the news of the week.